Brace yourself for one of the most intense, explosive, and cathartic transits of the year as Mars squares Pluto on Wednesday, September 24th, active 4 days before and after. This one needs to be handled with care as it brings power struggles, ego clashes, and major eruptions of drama. I am here to guide you and to break it down for all 12 signs. My name is Anastasia. I'm a traditional Western astrologer specializing in natal, relationship, electional, predictive astrology readings. If you enjoy my work, please show your support by leaving me a like, a comment, pressing that subscription button and notification bell. You can watch more of my content to help algorithm be friendlier, help my channel grow. I am really grateful for that. There's also a way to say thank you by buying me a tea, a coffee, a croissant, a token of appreciation. If you are seeking a more personal contact with astrology, if you want to understand yourself, I highly recommend booking a reading on my website, anastasiadoesastrology.com. Natal chart is a perfect introduction into your cosmic blueprint, helps you understand your strengths, weaknesses, areas of focus, and areas that can be improved. Year ahead is good for looking at what's coming up, solar returns, similar but best done around your birthday. There's also a relationship consultation as well as locational and electional astrology. All of that is on my website. On there, you can also find practical tools that help you make your life better. As a Virgo, I'm very hands-on and I'm very interested in capturing things and encapsulating them. We are talking about Mars in a square with Pluto, which could be dramatic, cathartic, challenging, and sometimes difficult to express your energy, your courage, initiative in a practical way. So I'd like to highlight my Mars Cazimi candle, which captures Mars in rulership in Scorpio, which is what we have right now, but a lot more constructive because it conjoins the sun. It has this focused ninja-like energy, perfect for setting fitness goals, for going after your ambitions, for asserting yourself in a non-aggressive yet powerful way. It can boost courage, discipline, and passion. Highly recommend for transits like this. We get them quite often. There's Mars-Pluto aspects every year. For Mars retrogrades, if you're born with Mars retrograde or if you're born with Mars in Cancer, Taurus, or Libra, which are the signs of fall and detriment for Mars, Mars tends to be restricted by the nature of those signs. If your natal Mars is in the 8th or 12th houses, if it conjoins square as opposed to Saturn, Mars Cazimi is the greatest candle for you guys. So we're talking about Mars squaring Pluto. The exact day is Wednesday, September 24th. However, as always, the effect of the transits are felt 4 days before, 4 days after, especially strongly starting September 22nd, Monday, when Mars enters Scorpio, because that's the moment it crosses the border into the sign where it will be squaring Pluto in. So starting Monday, September 22nd, and lasting until Sunday, September 28th, this week, right? The fun week we get. The square happens at 1 degree, 27 minutes, Scorpio and Aquarius. So you will feel it especially strongly if you have planets between 0 and 5 degrees of Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, or Leo. Before we talk about the significance of this, let's break it down and talk about Mars and Pluto. With Mars, we have the primal warrior archetype who attacks, who defends, who protects, who has the power to fight for evil or for good. It's the desire nature, it's the ambitious nature, it's arguably the most ego-driven planet there is because it's just raw force connected to what we want. Pluto is the lord of the underworld. Pluto is connected to Hades, who is also known for its own primal energy when he stole Persephone and brought her down into underworld to become his queen, right? So Pluto represents not always playing by the rules. Pluto represents initiation into darkness, transformation. I am teaching astrology right now, so all of this is like fresh in my mind. planning to teach more astrology in the future, so keep your eye out on it. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention that my planner is out for sale right now. This is 2026 planner. Sorry to interrupt the regular programming, but I wanted to mention this. So my 2026 planner is here. It's been updated to include ritual suggestions for new moon, full moons. It has lots of spaces to set your intentions, insights about each lunation, each month. Wonderful tool to have next to you. I've been using my 2025 planner forever. And this is always, all of my creations basically begin from like a personal desire to create something that will make my life better. So I will be happy to share this with you. If you purchase it before the end of September, so by October 1st, you can also save $6. Check out the coupon code and the link below. Sorry. Thank you for listening. Okay, so Pluto is the lord of the underworld, doesn't play by the rules, can be very cathartic energy, right? Very dramatic. So here we have the two being at odds with one another. They are in a square, which is an aspect of conflict and friction. And so when we have the two at odds with one another, something that has been building underneath the surface erupts, and not in the most comfortable way. It's like you squeeze a pimple, sorry for gross metaphor, but then it spurts blood and other stuff all across, right? And things get dirty, things get messy. Some people have a fascination with watching pimples being popped, so maybe this is just what you needed right now. But anyways, there is this like deep eruption of things that were hidden. So on a general level, we may see things happening like scandals breaking in the government, on social media, some type of drama. A lot of times this could be fighting for a worthy cause and exposing the darkness, right? Like Pluto is always the darkness, so transits to Pluto can illuminate something. And with Mars, it's likely going to be by like cutting someone's head off. On a personal level, this can lead to fights if there is some kind of power imbalance in your life, if you feel like things are unfair, if you've been swallowing some type of frustration around this time, that will be no more. You will have no more patience. That's why, you got to handle this one with care for sure. At the same time, these conversations and challenges can be extremely cathartic and transformative. They can encourage you to tap into inner reserves of power and face something you haven't faced before. And through it, you evolve, you die, and you get reborn in a very new, strong way. If you are someone who tries to play it safe and sort of retreats at the time of this transit, you may meet this energy from other people. Or you become this person who sort of forces the conversation and forces other people go through change. I like this in the positive, right? Like if we're thinking of using this transit and being aware, there is intensity to it. There is like an intense ambition and surge of power. And so if you don't take care of it, it can spill over. It can result in forcing things, manipulating, domineering. But if you are aware and you are, you're kind of following the moral code and you're persevering, this could be extremely sort of like working longer hours, committing to something, bringing your vision, your products into the world, right? Sorry, I just opened it today, so I'm super excited. And I don't know how I could have forgotten to mention that it's available for sale at this point. So avoid being ruthless, avoid manipulating, avoid using your power for evil. Try to lean into positive energy. And visit my website to book a reading, to discuss the eclipse season and anything else your heart desires. To break it down for the zodiac signs, we're going to start with Aries rising. For Aries rising, Mars in the 8th house will square Pluto in the 11th. So here we have your friends, your social media, your alliances, and your dreams as a catalyst for change and growth. What might happen is some type of powerful conflict with a friend or a conversation, right? It doesn't always have to be a conflict. It could be. It could be like a really big disagreement where you're realizing, I don't actually see the world this way, and maybe I need to tell them that, and maybe I need to protect myself. And sort of as a result, with Mars in the 8th house, you dig really deeply into relationship, and you either evolve together and come to see each other through a different lens, or you separate, right? Like Mars in the 8th could be like, I need to cut this off. I need to cut this engagement. I need to cut this person, this even maybe a job, right? There could be a friend can also be someone who initiates you into a new passion, a new hobby. Maybe they introduce you to astrology, and here you are watching an astrology video and being fascinated by it, right? So there is some type of like challenge or transformation that comes from your sector of friendships and social media, and potentially irritating, potentially difficult, but can also be empowering. And for some of you, definitely like a new direction might arise in your life, and crisis may bring an opportunity. So lean into that crisis-opportunity. For more, visit my website to book a reading and pick up the Mars Cazimi candle or my planner. My planner is for sale right now, so check it out. If you are the beautiful Taurus rising, Mars in your 7th house is squaring Pluto in the 10th. And here we have crisis coming from work. We have crisis coming from a boss or an initiation, sort of experience that is unexpected but maybe welcome, coming from a professional sector, that then spirals into your relationships, into your agreements and partnerships. So maybe there is some type of, forceful authority figure that is forcing you to work a lot, or is taking advantage of your perfectionism and hardworking energy, and you stand up to them and you get fired, right? Don't get scared. But like, maybe if that's the case, if you're in a job where you're like, I hate this person and this is so difficult, this could be when the crisis-opportunity presents itself, right? Crisis that results in opportunity. But yeah, so some type of like friction, challenge that then affects your relationship, because if you do get fired, maybe you end up leaning on your partner for a little bit, and the partner steps up and they're like, I'll take care of you financially, don't worry about it. Or you realize some type of professional ambition that maybe affects your relationship in a way that you need to figure out how to maybe work your dream job and still be in a relationship. It's an important transit because it highlights your angular houses. It's very much about your ambition in the world and your partnerships, right? And the two might be contradictory presently. And if you try to push through and manipulate and sort of force people to behave the way you want them to behave, then it's likely not going to work out. So stay high-minded. Visit my website if you need personal advice and pick up my 2026 planner. You can save $6 with the code down below. You can also get the Mars Cazimi candle on there. Awesome for challenging Martial transits. For the beautiful Gemini rising, Mars in the 6th house squaring Pluto in the 9th. And this reads as some type of ideological conflict with your colleagues, with your employees, with your teachers, that results in a disturbance of some sorts, right? Like we have Pluto in the 9th. It can also be like a power struggle with someone foreign, someone of a different culture, like a religious disagreement. Yeah, like tension with teachers, issues around travel, around legal matters, even honestly, some type of like intense realization about your beliefs. Ninth house is like this very foundational house in a way that it describes what we value and what is important to us. So with Pluto being there, you're perhaps starting to value spirituality, astrology, more freedom, right? And so something with Mars being in your 6th house, trying to problem solve and get a lot done, Pluto in the 9th introduces an issue that needs to be solved, that needs to be resolved. So your progress at work may get derailed. There may be some like health issue that you need to address, an ideological battle that you need to solve. But I like this I like this word for this transit. I like the Christ-ortunity word. So maybe there is something of an opportunity there. Sorry, I'm writing it down for myself. Sometimes ideas come throughout the video. Maybe there's an opportunity there to examine what you believe and to pick your battles wisely, right? Like if something is burdening you and it feels so difficult, let's say like a boss or a person that comes into a bar that you work at, maybe it's all just like little signs that you need to change things. And watch out, like move slowly, don't rush at this time. If you're seeking personal guidance, visit my website. On there, you can pick up my Mars Kazemi candle, book a reading, or get my magical, newly printed 2026 astrology planner. You can save $6 if you buy it before October 1st. Coupon is in the description. For the lovely Cancer rising, Mars in the 5th house is squaring Pluto in the 8th, and you're dealing with debts. You're dealing with agreements, you're dealing with situations that feel heavy and maybe unfair, and maybe some dynamics in your life that need to die and be reborn. And this could be so many things, right? The very obvious one in the 8th house, there is a financial obligation that is preventing you from going on vacation. But it can also be a dynamic with your father who is calling you every time something is wrong or like needs a lot of your attention, or a sister that is relying on you to watch her children, right? Anything that is both spoken and unspoken might feel especially limiting and might definitely might affect your pleasure. With Mars in the 5th house, you want to have fun, you want to have sex, you want to date. And Pluto in the 8th is like, look over here. You have to clear some space. You have to set some boundaries. You have to talk about this. So this can feel really irritating. There could be difficult conversations. There could be some crisis that involves money, that involves health, that may even involve death. If somebody in your life is kind of already not doing well, don't get scared if everything is fine. But yeah, there may be some important opportunities to liberate yourself from something important. And if you know what it is, do share, because I think 8th house is really, really personal. For more, visit my website to book a reading. You can also pick up Mars Kazemi candle or my 2026 planner that just went on sale. Save $6 with the coupon code in the description. If you are a Leo rising, Mars in the 4th house squares Pluto in the 7th. So here again, we have a pair of angular houses. Angular houses are 1st, 4th, 7th, and 10th. They tend to be especially important in the life of an individual. And here the crisis happens, or some type of power struggle, some type of challenge happens in the house of relationships, partnerships, contracts, agreements, and business. I may have said it already. But Pluto in the 7th will reveal tension in a marriage, will bring out a difficult conversation, will suggest some kind of death and rebirth. And sometimes this might mean this could be maybe because relationship is naturally evolving, right? Maybe you are about to become parents, and so there is a death of it's just you and me type of relationship, and something new that is happening, especially with that Mars in the 4th. So if you are handling this with care, if you're being sort of focused, then everything is likely to be fine. But there might be some type of tension between what you're trying to accomplish that involves your family, that involves your home, that involves your living situation, and what is happening with the partner. Maybe a partner is going through crisis. Maybe a partner is disagreeing with your goal. Maybe something happens in their life and now they need to move in with you. There's a possibility of some type of maybe even a chance to review your childhood and your patterns and your vision of a relationship that is inspired by some type of like intensity that is blooming in your 7th house of relationships. Do share, how has Pluto been in your 7th house? For more, visit my website to book a reading, pick up a candle, recommend Mars Kazemi, and my 2026 planner is on sale. You can save $6 if you get it by October 1st with a coupon code in the description. If you are a Virgo rising, Mars in the 3rd house is squaring Pluto in the 6th, and I feel like there is some type of crisis, some type of challenge, some kind of frustration that involves all of the heavy obligations you have, maybe crisis that involves health, if you've been dealing with some kind of health issue. Generally, this feels like maybe there is something in your like everyday life that is too heavy, that is unhealthy, a pattern, a habit, and work situation, even maybe a job that you're doing that just feels like grinding and not pleasurable at all. So something might rupture in there, right? There may be a conflict with a coworker, a health, like you get sick and you realize that it's actually a manifestation of you hating the job you're at or something like that. Conflicts even that involve like some kind of problem solving, some type of like DIY or home improvement project. And as a result, your schedule might transform. This also feels like watch what you say type of transit with Mars in the 3rd house, because your words right now have such a power to be cutting and hurtful. And I mean, Virgo risings, right? Virgo energy in general notices everything, knows how to pinpoint and say things that will cut right straight to the heart of someone or straight to the heart of the matter. So watch out what you're saying, because I think conflicts, issues with siblings, tensions may sort of burst open and result in a lot of friction, a lot of frustration, a lot of spilled hot coffee that can burn you and people around you. But pay attention at what does bother you, at what is happening with coworkers or health or all of these projects you're involved into, because there might be some answer there. Visit my website to book a personal reading and check out all of my offerings, such as my candles and my freshly available 2026 planner. Save $6 until October 1st with a coupon code in the description. My lovely Libra rising, Mars in your 2nd house will square Pluto in the 5th. And this feels like a conflict of values. This feels like an issue involving children or a child, if you have children or a child. Pluto in the 5th can reveal some type of obsession you have. If you're in a relationship, maybe it's about jealousy or a desire to control the other person, or some kind of negative fear that maybe you carry that affects your joy and your fun, and something that maybe needs to be released. It can involve your relationship with children. It can also be, if you're single, it could also be about just like sort of general maybe desire to be liked, or general desire to be a certain way, to have like a certain image out in the world. So, and of course, Mars in the 2nd house also suggests that you have these like clear goals right now. It's Mars in rulership in your house of money. You're looking at investments, you're planning things that you want to spend on. And square to Pluto might be like your child presents a problem and you need to spend your money on your child right now. Or your partner tells you that they have a debt and you need to figure out what to do there. Or you have, you have a plan to be saving and your partner wants to go on vacation. So like some type of friction involving priorities, values, resources is possible here. Share how this resonates. For more, visit my website to book a reading. Recommend my Mars Kazemi candle for this transit, and my 2026 planner is on sale, just went on sale. Look at the color. It's electric teal, which is the color of 2026. I feel like this light is making it look more like blue, while in reality it's pretty tealy green. Anyways, you can save $6 if you get yours before September wraps up. The coupon code is down below in the description. If you are a Scorpio rising, Mars in your first house will square Pluto in the fourth. And here we have so many possibilities, right? Pluto in the fourth, conflicts with family, power struggles, family trying to tell you who you are, what they expect of you, being forceful, being domineering. Issues involving real estate, some type of drama in the home. Pluto in the fourth can mean plumbing, can mean toilet, like anything that's kind of below the circus, maybe below the circus, but below the surface, some type of like hidden things coming to light. Additionally, this can show up as just overall sense of frustration, melancholy, realization about your childhood and unresolved wounds, and maybe wanting to have conversations. Pluto in the fourth is very much like skeletons in the closet being revealed to you. And so as a result, with Mars in the first squaring this energy, you may feel temporarily thrown off course, right? There may be something that your progress and your goals get derailed by. Maybe you're about to start a new job, but your house gets like, I don't know, a fireplace gets broken or some other issue, or maybe a family member demands your help, or something happens that needs to be addressed, needs to be processed. And of course, be careful of what you say, be careful of pushing through it, right? It might be a sign that you need to take it slow and you need to let something die and be reborn. Don't be afraid of like setting boundaries as well. Pluto in the fourth ultimately wants you to build your self-reliance and confidence in yourself. So work on that, share how this resonates, and for more, visit my website to book your reading. Highly recommend Mars Cazimi, generally lovely for you because it captures Mars and Scorpio in your sign. And my planner is currently on sale, just went on sale. You can save $6 with the coupon code in the description until the end of September. If you are a Sagittarius rising, Mars in the 12th house will square Pluto in your third house. And I feel like with Pluto in the third, your siblings, your neighbors, your conversations, your skills, hobbies, passions, and interests can be very illuminating right now. They can also be irritating because Mars in the 12th house wants to work alone, wants to accomplish a lot, wants to maybe lean into spirituality and commit to your love for astrology. But then Pluto in the third brings a crisis, right? Something happens with a sibling, something happens in your neighborhood, something happens in your everyday life, your car breaks down. And so the result might lead to some kind of drama. With this one, watch out that you don't kind of get involved in, you know, fights in line at the post office. Be careful, move slowly, don't rush places, especially with Pluto being in the third, and third being connected to like technology and cars and driving. So move slowly and pay attention to the conversations that you're having, because with Mars in the 12th, your conversations, however irritating they may be, they're also really likely to be illuminating. And the positive way of using this transit is directed towards self-discovery, right? Directed towards transformation of things. Therapy could be really revealing at this time. For more, visit my website to book a personal reading. You can also pick up a candle. Mars Cazimi is great on there. And my beautiful 2026 planner just went on sale. You can save $6 with the coupon code in the description before September ends. If you are a Capricorn rising, Mars in your 11th house will square Pluto in the second. So here we have Mars in the 11th as a warrior for some kind of dream or a social cause, a fighter on behalf of others, right? There is a strong desire in you to lead, to inspire, to be brave, and to speak for some kind of important cause, while Pluto in the second suggests crisis of identity, crisis around finances, maybe tensions in friendships involving finances, or a sense of some kind of friction between what you're really actively pursuing and the transformations that are happening within you, because maybe you've set out on a journey of opening a massage place, right? But then lately you've been realizing that you don't really want to deal with people and instead you'd prefer writing. So there may be some kind of crisis and tension, even that maybe manifests through a conflict with someone that is meant to show you what is worth your time and what is worth your energy. But I can also see this as maybe you are involved in a group project, you're leading, you're trying to help someone, but the square to Pluto brings up this realization that they don't appreciate it, that maybe someone's taking advantage of you, that you're not being compensated correctly. So there is also quite powerful opportunities for transformation here, as I call this crisis-opportunity, may present itself. For more, visit my website to book a personal reading. You can also pick up a candle on there or get my 2025 planner. If you pick it up before September ends, you can save $6 with a coupon code in the description. If you are an Aquarius rising, Mars in your 10th house squares Pluto in the 1st. And so this is interesting because Mars in the 10th makes you currently really ambitious. It inspires you to go after your goals, start a business, be very assertive in your professional life. But then Pluto in the 1st brings a crisis. It brings an attack on your character. It brings an issue that is close to heart that you're trying to advocate for. Basically, something will be feeling difficult. Pluto being the 1st house might also suggest that you're being the one who is maybe feeling like you have to speak up about some kind of issue, let's say an unfairness in your work life that you want to advocate for and express. So it's almost like you're becoming this person who initiates other people, who creates a change, who initiates people into the maybe darker realms of life. So watch out for what's going on. Listen to your own desires. Try to be high-minded and don't use manipulation or any negative tactics, because there might also be a chance around this time to advance your career with the use of some type of maybe questionable methods. So be mindful. If you have personal questions, book a reading on my website. You can also pick up a candle. Do recommend my Mars Kazemi. And my 2026 planner is currently on sale. You can save $6 before the end of September with a coupon code in the description. Check it out. If you are a Pisces rising, Mars in your 9th house squares Pluto in the 12th. This feels like a very spiritual issue. It can also, Pluto in the 12th house is here to illuminate your unconscious, to illuminate your self-defeating patterns, to also illuminate your maybe spiritual interests and desires that are germinating underneath all the everyday life, all the things that are on your to-do list. So if it's something negative, it can illuminate a bad habit, right? And maybe it results in a conflict and some type of important realization. Mars in the 9th can be very helpful for bringing spiritual insights and maybe urging you to discover something about yourself. Conversations with a therapist, conversations with a teacher, fights and drama that involves maybe religion, law, publishing, things like that can be revealing. Yet, if we look at it from that different perspective where Pluto in the 12th really wants you to connect with what is of value to you with some type of hidden passion, this can also be maybe crisis, right? Like Pluto in the 12th and the square to Mars in the 9th could be like you feel down, you feel sick, not even like in a physical way, but maybe in a mental way, or there is some type of like physical manifestation of your internal angst. So it could be like really kind of transformative and shaky. And that could be like a realization that you need to pivot, you need to adjust. And maybe your new path involves a spiritual passion, spiritual interest, and a different kind of mission, I'd say. So be careful, drink a lot of water, be mindful that this transit could be irritating, and it colors the very back end of the very end of September. Check out my website to book a personal reading to discuss all of this and how it affects you. You can also get a candle on there. Mars Kazemi is lovely. Or pick up my newly printed 2026 planner. I just received it today, first time opening and holding it. So pick it up, use the coupon code in the description to save $6 before September ends. And thank you so much for watching. As always, if you haven't subscribed yet, please press that button, leave me a like, leave me a smiley, a nice comment, because all of that encourages YouTube to show my content to more people. And I put a lot of work into it, so I really appreciate you appreciating me. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.